What's up guys, Skippy Africanus here, and last Friday I made a video about these 35 auto cartridges that I bought at a gun show. Definitely some super rare stuff. I had actually never even heard of it prior to buying them and then looking them up later that day. And in general they are pretty neat. Like if you want more info on them, feel free to check out my video that I posted last Friday where I went a little more into this cartridge. Today's specific video, however, stems from a question that I dropped in last Friday's video. And that question was in relation to chambering. So supposedly in the handgun that was chambered for this cartridge, you could fire 32 ACP out of it reliably. And I guess it's kind of no surprise because this stuff is essentially a rimless 32 ACP with pretty much the same diameter bullet at around 312, same bullet weight and all that. Again, it's just lacking the more rimmed profile of the 32 ACP casing. But that being said, that you could supposedly reliably fire 32 ACP out of a 35 Smith & Wesson handgun, it does beg the question, however, on whether or not you can fire 35 Smith & Wesson auto out of a 32 ACP handgun. I say to that, let's answer that question. So I ended up getting 4 rounds of 35 Smith & Wesson auto. I have one on display, and then I was going to hold on to an extra one. That leaves me with 2 extra rounds. So what we are going to do today is quite simple. We're going to see if we can fire 2 of those rounds reliably out of this 1916 Spanish Ruby. Now, before we do that, I will be getting a box of normal 32 ACP, mainly because the way magazines are for this handgun, they're not actually interchangeable, and I remember having one magazine that was kind of finicky. So I want to run a box through the magazine that I do have on hand, just to make sure that everything's good to go, because if it's failing with 32 ACP, obviously, it's probably going to fail with this stuff. So I'm going to go buy a box of 32 ACP, assuming I can find it, make sure this magazine works all right, and then we will jump to firing, or potentially trying to fire, 2 of these rounds. However, before we head out to the range, let's make sure this stuff actually can fit in the magazine and can chamber. So we got the 2 rounds. Everything's fitting in nicely. To be honest, these actually fit a little more nicely than the regular 32 ACP. So I got the handgun. Yeah, these rubies have a really weird thing. That's actually more of a safety than a slide catch for disassembly. Anyways. Looks like we got a little failure to feed right there. Okay, so I cleared the gun and with the little clearing rod right here. Now I'm just going to try dropping it in the barrel. We'll see if it wants to fit. Not really wanting to fit. Maybe the slide will fix that little problem. Nope. Okay, so it would appear that this video actually ends early. We're going to go take a caliper, which actually I was going to do that anyways before I went to the range, just to double check all my information was correct. But we're going to take a caliper and compare this to a normal 32 ACP, because obviously something's not right. It's not one to even fit in the chamber. Alright, so we got the caliper out now, and I grabbed the display round, as this one has that little paper thing I want to keep on, and these 2 might have been compressed just a tiny bit. So I want to get as close to the most, accurate measurement as I can, so I grabbed the display round. So we got it in inches. And we're coming to around 0.34705. 0.347, give or take. That's what we're coming around with the, just, overall width of the case and all that. Now I have 1 round of 32 ACP right here. So that last one was 0.347, give or take. Now we'll try with the 32 ACP and see what that's coming at. 0.335. So as it turns out, even though the bullet diameters are supposedly the same, personally I would actually rather want to pull it and check it myself, because then you get scenarios like this where it's just good to check it yourself a lot of time and not take a lot of these gun tubers' advice. I would like to check it myself for the actual bullet diameter. Supposedly they are the same though. But that being said, this case is about 0.012 bigger, so that kind of answers your question on whether or not you can fire 35 auto through a 32 ACP handgun. So, in the end, you can fire 32 ACP, supposedly, out of a 35 auto handgun, but you cannot fire 35 auto out of a 32 ACP handgun. And that is going to do it for this short little video on whether or not you can fire 35 ACP or 35 auto out of a 32 ACP handgun. I hope y'all enjoyed the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and stay tuned for future content involving weird cartridges.